You start the project, you're afraid of stuff. When you're near the end of the project, you're not afraid anymore. There's nothing that the project can throw at you that you're afraid of.
Not going crazy, but lately these thoughts in my head are a whirlwind of a world of a million regrets. All the things I should have done, all the things I should have said, all the pain that comes with hating the mess you made of yourself. I know I'm chasing rainbows, thinking I can make it work, but the fact is that my actions speak louder than my words, and it only makes it worse thinking of her, thinking she'll forgive me. Must be the whiskey. I've been drinking to remember and drinking to forget. I got I love you on my mind. I got Jim Beam on my breath, and loneliness has got the rest. I've got nothing left within me. It must be the whiskey.
Grab yourself a beer, sit down, and let's talk restoration of a vehicle. We're going to get back to these parts in a second, but let's go over here. Now, for the people first joining me on this, first time joining me, this is my restoration. It's a 2000 Jeep Wrangler, 6-cylinder. I live in New England, so if you live in New England, you know what that means, rust. Now, a couple things you need to know ahead of time. You need to sit down, and if you're thinking about doing a restoration or project car, you need to really think, there's two ways of going about this. Frame off or frame on. If you're gonna do frame off, you're so much better off doing a frame off. If you have the space and you're not too scared about it, you're better off doing a frame off because it's going to be a lot easier and it's actually going to save you time and money in the long run. I didn't have the room, I thought, for a frame off, and I was a little hesitant to do it, and that's my fault, and it bit me in the ass a few times. I had to do a lot of frame work on this vehicle and a lot of body work. The frame work probably took me easy 2, 3, maybe even 4 times longer to do because of getting into cutting parts of the frame off, welding. Not even the cutting, but more the welding. That's another thing. You're gonna probably need to learn how to weld. Even if you think that you have a car that's pretty solid, you're probably gonna have to not just get a flux core welder, but get a MIG welder, because you're gonna find that you're gonna have to weld some stuff, and it really is helpful to have a MIG welder handy. But I chose to do the frame on, and that really bit me in the ass with the restoration of the frame. Body work too, floorboards. Floorboards are so hard to do when the vehicle's on. Now, you're looking at me like I'm crazy, like, hey, I don't plan on doing all that. If you buy a car and you see surface rust, or you find some rust, you're actually going to find out 90% of the time that rust runs deeper than that you thought. And don't, like me, this was not supposed to be a restoration vehicle. This was supposed to be a vehicle I bought and do some modification, put all the money into suspension and axle, and go wheeling with it. And then I started finding Bondo on the frame. I found, just ghetto fix here, ghetto fix there. Whatever you want to call it. It's just shabby crap. And people will do that to you. You think you're buying I don't care if it's a hot rod or a 4-wheel drive, you think you're buying a decent car, and there's so many ways to hide shitty work. It's you're gonna get bit in the ass. So that's another thing. If you're buying a car, try to find someone that actually knows what they're doing and look at the car. I thought I knew what I was doing. I took a bagged it. I went over it, and I still, who would ever thought that someone put fiberglass into a frame? I didn't expect that. So if you're going to do that restoration on that vehicle, and it's an older vehicle, you're going to most likely deal with a lot of rust, or unless it's a California car. Now, if you choose to do one and you're going to do it with the frame on like I did, and you're past doing the frame and now you're the body work, you got to decide on the body work what you're going to do. There's 2 ways of doing body work. You're doing the patch panels, slapping on some mud, getting an electric sander and go to town, and then primer filling it, and you're fine. Then you go the route of what I did, which is doing more metal work, and then doing less of the fill, and then block sanding the vehicle, which is going to, again, add months onto the project. So I recommend, if you don't care, if you're not looking for a show quality car, you don't need to block sand it. If you're more going, if you happen to put on this and you're going to be doing like an old car and you're more motor guy like I am, just do the hot rod and then do the basics on the body as possible. Don't go too nuts. Bushings, just realize bushings are probably an older car. People don't replace their bushings, so you're going to go through the bushings. Getting these parts off is another problem. Once you start working on a car, you're going to realize that no bolt wants to come off for you. You think it's, I thought at first it was my car, and then I watched a lot of videos, and you know, heat is your friend. Get a torch, heat up every bolt, but you're gonna break a lot of bolts, you're gonna be swear a lot, you're gonna get cut knuckles, your hands aren't gonna be clean for a while. You can do it, it's just realize it's gonna take you time. So all the fabrication of the bolts and everything is gonna take you time. Now I have a budget, it's not about money. I don't want to sound like I'm cheap, but it's not about the money. When I bought this, I had a budget what I want to put in for it. You're never, and the reason being is you're never going to get money out of your car or your Jeep. No matter what you think whatever you're thinking, the grandeurs, delusions of grandeur in your head. Why do you think so many people sell their cars as a project, or they sell their cars they don't make they're not going to make money on it. The more the time you put into a project and the money you put in a project, you're usually never going to get back. So like this Jeep is never going to leave me. After I'm done with it, I'll give it to my brother's kids. You know, I put enough time and effort into it. I know it. I'm not going to get rid of it. You need to decide if you are going to get rid of it. Then I would probably, again, I'd probably not go too crazy because you're never going to get the money out of it. When it comes to how do I, like budget-wise, what do I do? It's the small things that add up. Whatever I can save, I can save. Whatever is shot, I'll get new. But for taking, you look down here, these grommets right there, those are grommets for my valve cover. Now I could have bought some if I find them, and sometimes they cost, it's not about, again, it's parts wise, it's finding the parts, paying for the parts. I took an hour, I cleaned them, I'll paint them, I'll put them back on. There's no reason I can't use the grommets and use the rubber that comes with the gasket. So it's little things like that actually add up and save you a ton of cash. If I told people what I spent on this rebuild right now, they would say I'm full of shit. My neighbor did, because he thought I was way deep into this, and I'm not. Everything I buy ahead of time, look for sales, and you can actually save some money in that. If you just go out and go to the parts store every day that you need a part, you're gonna spend a fortune. So buy ahead of time, look for the sales, and you can save money that way. But that's if you're gonna try to sell the car. If you're keeping the car and it's the rest of your life and you want to put the money into it, then buy all brand new parts. But that's not, I kind of enjoy restoring the parts myself. I have fun. So I hope this helps you out. Last thing, come on over here, back to the pile. Remember how I said I didn't think I had room for the body? You'd be surprised what you find room for. Never in 100 years, I live in suburbia. My neighbors hate my guts. Really don't like them either, so I don't really care. But you're going to get piles like this. Don't you think, if you think you're not going to get piles like this, don't even bother, because you are. Name me one car person you know that doesn't have a pile behind the garage or underneath the porch. I have two. I have this one, I have one underneath the porch. That's a gas tank. Still not sure if I'm going to put in. I really want to put a shorty tank in there with that's a different video, and that's my axle I got rebuilt. Let's say springs that I'm not going to use will go to the junkyard. Rusty parts over there. Oil pan I found out has a hole in it. These are the parts I'm restoring today. You're gonna make a mess. You're gonna make noise. All that stuff take in consideration, when you're thinking about doing a project. Hope this, like I said, I hope this helps you out. Finish your beer, think about it, and if you do the project, good luck for you, and don't give up. Because you know what? If you make it through, at the end of the day, you're gonna really enjoy what you have. It's yours. You'll know it by heart. Every bolt on this thing, I know. I know the torque. I know what it took to get it out. I know what it takes to get it back in. But see, I'm not afraid of doing anything in the vehicle now. When this vehicle is all put together, you wouldn't hurt me a bit to go back out and take the axles out, take the motor out, because I've done it. It's done. I've done all this stuff. It's like the V for Vendetta. I watched that a few days ago. Good movie, where the girl was afraid of dying. When you start the project, you're afraid of stuff. When you're near the end of the project, you're not afraid anymore. There's nothing that the project can throw at you that you're afraid of. It's awesome feeling once you get to that spot, because you feel empowered and you know you did it and you know you can do it again, and the confidence that you built in that is actually going to help you out if you ever want to do another project. I'm already psyched. I want to finish this one and I want to start another project. it makes me happy restoring the car. So I hope you get that same satisfaction as I did. Have a great day. I hope you have better beer than I do. Talk to you later. And subscribe and like if you want. It would help me out.